Hello, beach friends. Today we're going to be exploring Kice Island because Kice Island is awesome for exploring and searching for seashells. But before we dive in, let's backtrack just a little and talk about what transpired earlier in the day because it's going to be important to what we learn at the end of the video. I had started my day in a mad rush to paddle over to Dickman's Island to beat a little rainstorm that was coming. I didn't want to be on the water during the storm, and shelling through a rainstorm wasn't all that bad. However, after the storm, it got really windy, and most unfortunately, I wasn't thinking about how this was going to affect my ability to get from island to island. The wind was at my back on my way over to Kice, and it did occur to me that I was going to have a tough paddle to get back to the marina, but I had seashells on the brain, so I made my way over to Kice Island. Now, if you're ready to find out what kind of beachy goodness is waiting for us over on Kice Island, let's go to the beach. So here we are on Kice Island. Had a very busy morning over at Dickman's, but right now it is a balmy 72 degrees. It's still really windy. Just got here, had a busy morning, but we're going to start a whole new adventure here on Kice Island. Now, notice how low the tide is right now. That was part of the reason I really wanted to be out here, especially because the 10,000 Islands are just a really great place to go exploring and looking for shells. And since the tide was going to be so low for so long, I wanted to be out on these islands. And that is a lovely lightning whelk. A little bit of beach stuff on it, but that's an okay start to our day. Then I was noticing all these oysters that had made their little home at the bottom of these mangroves, and it can be very treacherous. So if you do plan on doing, island shelling, bring shoes. Don't plan on doing it barefoot. You'll thank me later, or your feet will. All right, here's a banded tulip. We typically find a whole bunch of those down here, which is strange. I don't find them up north as much. And it pays off to really check all the nooks and crannies, because here's a real nice size lightning whelk. Awesome. And I can't resist a good Florida fighting conch. And look how purple on the inside. Oh, yep, really happy with that shell. And a turkey wing. Now this is an arc. It's also known as a zigzag arc, but the more common name is turkey wing, complete with a little beach stuff, and that's okay. Right, I'm really kind of hunting and looking in between everything because I really wanted this hinged spiny jewel box. Now, I know it doesn't look great, but I'm pretty sure if I soak that in bleach for a little bit, it'll look real pretty. Always happy to find a spiny jewel box that is attached, that is still hinged. Oh, complete with a drill hole. Awesome. Awesome find. Now, Kice Island isn't really a shelling in the water kind of place, which is my favorite, but I always find such great treasures here, so I just keep coming back. But for the most part, you really are going to be walking through shell piles, dodging branches. Oh, hello, lace murex. And that's what I mean. Those are much harder to find up north, Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach, Captiva. For whatever reason, down here in the 10,000 Islands, they're much more plentiful. And this I thought was interesting. So there's these little creatures, hope I'm pronouncing it right, a piddick, and they will bore into wood and they'll just hang out in there. That'll be their little home. So little shells, little bivalves created all those holes in that tree. Kind of neat. Oh, and here we have, now this is a thick buttercup. I know it's not terribly interesting. It's not even really that great a shape, but I never find them. So I'm happy to make my acquaintance again with a thick buttercup. So here's another little peek at Kice. Really not much opportunity, again, to shell near the water at this point. So we're just gonna go through this shell pile. Let's see what's here. Kind of get familiar with our regular friends that are normally here, like this prickly cockle, the broad-ribbed cardita, another cockle. That is another one of those thick buttercups. That's a piece of shell that has been hit by a boring sponge or other creatures kind of pulled the calcium out of that shell. That is an arc. That is a ponderous arc. This is also one. That is a yellow prickly cockle. And so there's tons of shells here. The cockles, the arcs, slipper shells, all sorts of things. But I tend to like things that are just a little bit more exciting, like this top snail. That is kind of cool. And a scallop. Oh, a real pretty one. So that's a calico scallop. And I do love when they have that like sunbeam pattern. Very nice. Well, here we have a little lace murex. Very nice. It's juvenile. It's little. Those at least look the same when they're big and when they're small, just like these guys. So that's a sunray Venus. It's hinged. It's little itty bitty. But you can tell the juveniles all the way to the adults have that same appearance. Not all the shells are like that. Top snails, that's another one, much better condition than that first one we found. And that also, little ones look just like that. They'll just be a little more little. Here is another juvenile lace murex, complete with a little bit of pink on its top. Very nice. Yep, so when I can, I do try to go by the water, and there's really not much there. So for the most part, I'll probably be walking through the woods and everything, but it is nice to just come down here and check. You never know. I like to increase my chances, zigging and zagging. And check this little itty bitty guy out. So that is a coffee melampus. They only get to be about 3/4 of an inch big. I do find them at Bunch, and apparently they're down here at Kice as well. Oh, critter! Of course, because I'm a little bit by the water. It's in some sort of drill. Here we have a little hermit crab. Ever so slowly, just stretching its legs. And the tide is coming in at this point. Probably would have been fine, but since we said hi, I'll be nice and put it back in the water. Now, this is one of those broad-ribbed carditas. They are very plentiful, but not ones with yellow on them. So I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, don't find them with yellow. I thought that was really cool. So common shell, but uncommon color. I'm going to hold on to that. Here are more critters. Really hard to find these shells. These are cloudy periwinkles, and they typically live in the splash zone. So when that tide comes in, I mean, it's really going to come in. The water will be very close to where they are. So you can imagine how dramatically the tide goes in and out. And they are gorgeous. Tough to find those shells, though. Here is a fighting conch. Now, these guys they do look very different. The juveniles look a lot different than the adults. At least to me, they do. That one seems to have some sort of like weirdness going on, a little bit of deformity. So I like that. I'm going to keep it. Oh, and I saw a little bit of pink. I had to check that out. That is a very lovely calico scallop. There are a couple different scallops down here, but typically those calicos have really the more different colors, a great variety of colors. Well, hi, apple murex. Right, that's a little more fat in the middle than the lace murex. It's got nice color, got some little bit of bumps on it. Awesome. Okay, so you guys ask me all the time what equipment I have. I don't really bring a lot. That's my shell bag. It is old. It is beat up. It's literally my original shell bag. It wasn't long enough, so I cut it and tied a piece of fabric to really lengthen the strap. I don't care. It looks terrible, but it works. And then I always keep a little container with me. So that'll be for my sand dollars, urchins, tinies, things that are more delicate or small that I don't want to get lost. So that's it. Nothing fancy. I need to have both hands free so I can sling it over my shoulder. And that's the equipment I use to carry things like that and that. These are both calico scallops, very lovely purple calico scallops. Yay! Now this is unusual. Well, not terribly unusual. I mean, you can find them yellow. Usually they're orange, but that is a juvenile horse conch. It's a little beat up. It's missing its bottom, but I really just wanted to kind of show you the color. Kind of neat to see a little bit of yellow here. And here we have, now this is a Florida, oh, look at that purple. Awesome. Now, someone recently asked me, how can you tell if it's empty? Well, if you look right there, you see the critter's eyeballs. So if there's anything in the shell, not sand or other shells, but if there's anything squishy, anything that has eyeballs, if there's a crab in there, that is not something that you are allowed to keep. But that completely empty, lovely lightning whelk that just kind of washed up at my feet. I think it was a sign. That beach stuff won't be a problem. I'm going to keep that lovely lightning whelk. Okay, spiny jewel box. How spiny? Yeah, that's pretty spiny. That's a pretty decent looking little jewel box. It's not hinged, but it is lovely. And another lightning whelk. I'm going to say those are almost as common as the fighting conchs. I mean, they are really, really everywhere. Love those lightning whelks. Oh, and here we have another whelk. That is a pear whelk. Another lovely, typically they'll have more brown, really more colors on it. That one's a little washed out, but in great shape. And what do we got here? Oh, a little moon snail. So that is a colorful moon snail, a Gaudy nautica, but it has a varied color. It's not normally that color. Normally it, hopefully we'll find one, I'll show you. So that is a moon snail with some weird color, and that's a calico scallop. Really nice to see that pattern. Again, that sunbeam pattern on that purple background. Very nice. And another little lace murex. Let's see how lacy. Oh, it's very lacy. Oh, it's a little broken. That's okay. Most of it's fine. I'm going to hold on to that. And then I hit kind of like this jackpot, and I'm always drawn to the water. If I can, I like being where the fresh shells are. Yeah, I know we've got a couple, but hey, what's one more, right? Another lightning whelk. So start seeing some fighting conchs and hoping there'll be some other interesting things here. Oh, that's really pretty. I like the pattern on that. So that is a Florida fighting conch. I see a lightning whelk. I'm going to check out that banded tulip. Here's a lettered olive. Lots of cool stuff here. There's a keeper. So that's another banded tulip, complete with a nice aperture. Normally that opening is a little chipped up. Very nice. Here's another fighting conch. And the problem with those is they're heavy. So I really, really try not to pick them up until the end of my shelling trip. Otherwise I'm carrying around 30 pounds of shells. That's much lighter. That was a banded tulip. And that's one of those crossbarred Venus. Very, very common, but still kind of a cool shell. All right, I see. Oh, I see it. Do you see it? A albino lace murex. It's kind of a bummer because it's kind of beat up. It's too bad it's not more lacy, but it's still, I do like finding those albino shells, so that's still something I'm going to hold on to. Oh, and another horse conch. All right, as those conchs get older, they tend to lose their color. Not always, but so that's a decent, wow, went from yellow to purple. So that was a horse conch, and then this is a lovely calico scallop. Oh, I love seeing that purple with the blue. Very nice. Okay, this is a Florida cone. I do love me some cones, so pretty much no matter what, if it's a cone, I hold on to it, unless it's really beat up. That, my friends, is a true tulip. Much harder to find than the banded tulips. That is a true tulip. Looks like it's destined to meet up with some acid, just to see if we get some color back. And oh, I was really hoping that that angel wing would be whole, but alas, it is not. Or this lightning whelk. But look at that color. It's like black and orange. I rarely find them that color, so I know it's broken, but I'm going to go ahead and hold on to it. So there's a nice little shell pile. And I was going to lay down and do like a shell angel, like y'all would do in the snow, but I was wearing shorts and I didn't feel like getting all cut up. So maybe one of these times I'll do it. At the time, it didn't seem like the best idea. Look, I did find myself a whole angel wing. Love those beautiful white shells. All right, you see it? What about now? Look, a baby's ear. Oh, I'm so excited. So this is also part of the moon snail family, believe it or not. And that is called a baby's ear. There's a couple different types of baby's ears, but this is the only type I have found so far. Maybe one day I'll find a different species. Oh, a worm snail. So that's a Florida worm snail. I like them. They're weird. They just kind of do their squirmy thing. I like collecting those shells. And since I'm here, I'll go ahead and just, grab that banded tulip. Why not? Something orange. Oh, that's not what I'm going for. Or maybe I am. Yeah, so that's a juvenile fighting conch. And then that's a colorful moon snail that has the more typical colors on it versus that other one that had kind of like that weird coloring. A lettered olive. It's not albino, but is it shiny and lettery and pointy? Why, yes, it is. It checks off all the boxes. Lovely lettered olive. Oh, got caught up on that branch. Yeah, I know. I'm nuts. I think that is just absolutely gorgeous. Love that color on that fighting conch. What am I going? All right, there is a hinged Sunray Venus, piece of a sand dollar. There's the ponderous arcs again. Yep, with their black periostracum, a giant Atlantic cockle, more stuff. A really, unfortunate, an apple murex that's seen better days. Now look at this lightning whelk. All right, now I'm trying to determine if it's really bleached out or if, I guess I decided that was a keeper. Sometimes they'll be bleached out and you're not going to get that color back. A lot of times you can use acid and remove that whiteness. And I think it's time to go for a little walk, so you guys enjoy. That, my friends, is an albino lightning whelk. Now I can just tell. I don't know if you can tell on the screen visually, but that is not bleached out. That is not, calcified. That is an albino lightning whelk. Awesome find. And a very yellow prickly cockle. I am drawn to those colors and textures. The more different, the better. So that is a yellow prickly cockle. Another tulip, another true tulip. Woohoo! Now, I know that's as good as it's going to get from a color standpoint because the shell is wet. So even if I dipped it in acid, it's still not going to really revive the color. I'm going to keep it anyway. Just like this one, because it's a cone. And I pretty much keep all the cones I find. Awesome little Florida cone. Oh, a banded tulip, but that's not what I was excited about. Look at the color on the broken scallop. Yeah, the color is cool. I'm not going to keep it, but I'll go ahead and hold on to that banded tulip with barnacles. Oh, more barnacles, although they're empty. Of that calico scallop. Lovely. There we go. So that is a pear whelk, complete with nice, rich colors. So sometimes they're striped or they have a light background with just a couple bands. That is a gorgeous pear whelk. Oh, and here's a lace murex that's just buried in beach stuff, or maybe that's even an apple. Oh, no, that's a banded tulip. Real pretty color. Ooh, look at that lightning whelk. It's super bendy. Usually it's a little more straight. That one's a little bent and weird, so I like it. And so again, this is just for reference, just to kind of show you where I am. So I'm very close to the water. Tide is coming in, and you can just look at how vibrant all the colors of the shells are because the water has been here. Just gorgeous. And there's so many goodies. Another apple murex. Yep, real nice color, nice texture. It's not beach worn. Gorgeous, gorgeous apple murex. And a little lightning whelk. Another banded tulip. Yep, that's usually how I find them. Gonna leave that. That's the ponderous arc again. That's a live one. And that black stuff, that's called periostracum. And that is a natural covering that the shells develop. That is a lace murex. It's kind of lacy. Yeah, it's a keeper. What else do I spy? Another banded tulip. Excellent. And a lightning whelk. And a nutmeg. All right, haven't seen one of those today. Oh dear. Yeah, probably won't keep it, but we did say hi. So we'll just keep it moving. See what other goodies we find. Oh, a rough scallop. Now those raised parts of the shell, that's called the ribs. And you'll notice the difference between the ribs of the rough scallop. Just kind of interesting. Much different than the bay scallop. And if you look at those ribs and the distance between them and even the shape, those are much more square. The rough scallop kind of had round ribs. Oh, pretty. That is not a scallop. That is a really pretty. I guess I couldn't resist a fighting conch because it's so orange. Love it. Yay! It's a little broken, but that's a horse conch. I'm always kind of happy when I find those. I'm always really happy when I find the big ones, even though it's only happened once. But hey, we'll just keep looking. Here's another horse conch. A little worse for wear, a little bit of beach stuff, a little bit broken. Real nice half of a pear whelk. So just kind of see anything else kind of catches my eye. Ooh, the texture of this lovely lace murex. Very pretty. Awesome. Awesome lace murex. Okay, I really do like that pattern on the calico scallop, that sunbeam pattern. I thought that was really pretty. Oh, and that's typically how I find those horse conchs, the little ones. Typically, they're orange, sometimes with that little white top on them. Yay, nice orange things to find at the beach. All right, still kind of close to the water. Hoping that maybe some fresh stuff is getting pushed up onto the beach. Here's another top snail. A jujube top snail. Here's a little lace murex. There is another lace murex. I guess it's down here, down in the Thousand Islands, you find them like this. Up north, Sanibel, again, Captiva, Fort Myers, not so much. Lettered olives, no problem. It's another ponderous arc. That is a sunray Venus clam, complete with a little drill hole. Let's see what else. I see a spiny jewel box. That's another little lightning whelk. All sorts of goodies. Yeah, I'm having myself a good old time. So that's a shark eye. That actually happens to be a false shark eye. And you can tell the difference when you flip them over and you look at the underside. There's a part that looks like it's kind of scooped out. I've gone over this a couple of times. Hopefully you guys get it. I think I'm there. I think I really can tell the difference between the shark eye and the false shark eye. And I'm just marveling. Like, I look to my left, there's seashells. I look at my feet, there's seashells. I look up the beach and more seashells. So I am just having the best time. Now that's another shark eye that is not the right color. That is a false shark eye. Typically they're brown, not that color. Because it's kind of weird, I'm going to keep it. Speaking of weird, so this is a sunray Venus clam, and it has a little bit of shine to it. I can't tell if it's just wet, but the point is that you can't always identify the shells by the coloring. A lot of times you're going to need to go by the shape. So that was a very bleached out sunray Venus clam. A lettered olive and a lightning whelk. and a broken banded tulip, and a juvenile Florida fighting conch. I saw a angel wing there. Perhaps it was not up to par. Here we have another little lace murex and a banded tulip. So not too shabby from bending down for about 22 seconds. That's another albino, and it's a lace, and it's so pretty. Oh, that is awesome. I found that beat up one, and I'm even happier with that one. That is just beautiful. On a crown conch. Not too crowny, but hey, it's not too bad. It's a decent crown conch. And at this point, I realized that been on the island for a while, I completely lost, really kind of track of time, and I do need to head back. And I noticed that the tide, it's pretty high. It's really coming in. But I have a feeling we're going to find a couple more goodies before we need to say goodbye. Like this pretty pear whelk. It is a little chipped, but the color is great. So I'm still going to, size is good too. So because of that, I'm going to hold on to it. Now this was big. This is a gaudy nautica. I don't know if you can really tell. It's much bigger than the size I normally find. And I know it's covered in beach stuff, but I'm going to try to save it. So I'm going to hold on to that gaudy nautica. And the color on this was, I like when it looks like it was like smudged, like the paint was wet and you just kind of wiped it. So that's a Sunray Venus. Kind of got that different kind of coloring on it. Very nice. Oh, and like an orange fighting conch. Yeah, I couldn't resist that. Plus I'm leaving, so it's okay. I can load up on fighting conchs now. Guys, so the last time I left Kice, I also found a gorgeous flat as I was leaving. So I guess Kice really wanted to say thanks for coming, and it gave me another gorgeous flat. Thank you, Kice. I appreciate it. So I noticed that the tide was coming in, and I started to panic. Did I park my kayak high enough? So I was boogieing. At the end here, I was really boogieing, and I can see it. My kayak is blue, so I know I saw it, and I'm like, okay, whew, at least I know I'm going to be able to get back to the marina. So there's my little kayak. It's a wee little thing, but I do manage it myself, and it's fine. And I take a look out, and I see, yeah, that's going to be a really tough paddle. And that's about when things really took a turn for the worse. I tried my hardest, but there was no way I was going to paddle back to the marina. This photo I took accidentally, most likely when I was drying off my phone and calling for help. After I left Kice, I paddled my heart out, and I made it to the backside of Dickman's, capsized, retrieved all my gear and my paddle and my shells, and decided to just hunker down and call for help. Let's talk about the things I learned today. Don't try to kayak in strong winds. I've kayaked before, but never in wind like this, and I severely underestimated how hard it was going to be to get back to the marina. My bad. 411 does still work. I used it to call the marina to find out what my best options were for getting back to the marina, and they said, call 911. If you're stuck the way I was, get somewhere safe and just call for help. My fear was that I would be swept out into the Gulf. I was here on Kice, and I made it to about here on Dickman's after an extraordinary amount of effort. And I might have said a swear word or two because I really wanted to get back to the marina, but it wasn't going to happen without help. Last tip, make sure you have extra battery. I did run out of battery the last time I did this trip, but this time I checked my cords, I checked my batteries, and I was so grateful that I did. Help did arrive in the form of Marco Island Police in their boat, and they very graciously gave me a ride back to Capsized Marina. I didn't get any footage of the rescue as I was still feeling rather foolish and didn't think it would be appropriate. However, my rescuers did agree to be in the video, so here's a quick message from these fine gentlemen.
Well,
thank you. Made it back safely.
No, appreciate it. Marco Island Police, the best.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Not only did these men treat me kindly, they helped me get my kayak off their boat and onto my car. They helped me put my gear away. I was just so very grateful for the ride, their attitude, and their help. Marco Island Police are awesome. So it was quite a day, but I'm happy to report I don't think I lost any shells. I was worried that shells might have dumped out of my bags when I capsized, but far as I can tell, I managed to keep all the goodies I found. We did find a bunch of those lightning whelks, a couple weird bendy ones, and most of the straight ones, some with really good size. The fighting conchs, which are always really fun for me because I love them. Did get a bunch of the spiny jewel boxes, some top snails, some sunray Venus clams, the turkey wing, the colorful moon snails, one angel wing, some of those scallops, those bivalves, the murex, bunch of those apple murex, couple of lace murex, that nutmeg, some horse conchs, couple cones, bunch of those lettered olives. Of course, we had a bunch of the banded tulips, a couple true tulips, and then my favorites were the albino lightning whelk, the albino lace murex, and that flat. Whew, what a day. Hey, I would like to mention at this point, if you wanted to financially support me, you like this kind of thing, you can become a Patreon. I'll go ahead and I'll put a link in the description box below, but for my current Patreons, thank you so very much for coming along with me, supporting me. I appreciate it so much. I really do. And everybody else, you're awesome. Thank everyone for your comments. I hope you learned something today. I sure did. I took one for the team, so learned a bunch of stuff here. Next week, we're headed to Lover's Key. So you have yourself a great week, and I will see you again next Sunday.